Um, so I saw something on the evening news that I can't explain by OQS on No Sleep from 6 years ago. 12K upvotes, not bad at all. Uh, this one seemed to be a little bit longer, and hopefully I won't, mess up this so many times. But yeah, I might as well just pump a few of these out tonight and just upload them all. It's just like a start for the channel, so, I almost said meow. So, meow. Anyways, I'm gonna start. My work friends and I were out at our favorite pub last night. Not really a fancy place, but, you know, cheap beer and close enough to home that I don't have to drive. The night started out normally enough. The four of us crammed into a small table in the corner. The small table off in the corner. Mostly talking shop and shitting on our boss. Being this was the middle of the week and there weren't too many other people around, maybe just around 8 or 9 others in the whole place. Everybody just kind of keeping to themselves, sort of people you'd expect to see in a pub on a Wednesday. Anyways, anyways, from where I'm sitting, I have a pretty good view of the TV behind the bar. Jesse, the bartender, is kind of lazily flipping through the channels and passes by our local news channel. There's a brief burst of orange and red on the screen, which I register as a fire happening somewheres, which then disperses as Jesse switches over to the next channel. Something about the image looks oddly familiar, though. Hey, Jess, can you switch that back? I call out to her. The news comes back on, and suddenly I recognize the building in the frame. It's my building, and it's burning. Holy shit. I say loudly enough that a few people follow my gaze at television. That's my apartment. The crowd in the bar falls quiet. Everyone's staring up at the screen now. The screen shows a wide shot of the outside of my building. The camera must be set up on the north end of the block because I recognize a lot of the shops on the ground floor. Property management, dry cleaner, convenience mart, etc. The top left corner of the building is aflame. It's not a huge fire by any means, but it looks like a few units between the top 4 floors or so have already been engulfed by the flames. Jesus, man, says one of my coworkers that sucks. There's an uncomfortable murmur of agreement that passes around the table. I mean, I don't blame them. I wouldn't know what to say in this situation either. Yeah, I agree, just as awkwardly. Thankfully, my apartment is only halfway up and located on the west side of the building. I cross my fingers, hoping that my stuff will be okay. The camera cuts to a reporter on the scene. He's standing a little further away, looking at the shops in the background. I could tell he's across the street on the northwest corner of my building. Firefighters are expected on the scene at any moment, he's saying, and hopefully they'll be able to contain this horrible inferno before it spreads any further. As I was saying before, it's very unfortunate that everyone was unable to evacuate the building before things got a little too bad. Who knows what tragic events may have unfolded. He's really laying it on thick, one of my other coworkers jokes. I chuckle a bit. All things considered at the moment, didn't really seem all that bad. But a few minutes later, hang on, the reporter on TV says, we're getting some updated information. It just seems, hang on one moment while we readjust the camera. The previously locked down camera starts to shift, the angle focusing on an area of the building about halfway up the west side. All the lights in the building are out except for one. I feel a weird, creepy sensation as I start counting from the windows on the bottom. 5 up, 2 over. That's my place. I swear it turned that light out. I think at first, then I see it. There's a person standing in my window. The camera is zoomed out too far to make out any features, but it definitely looks like a man. He's definitely standing in the apartment. I watch petrified as the camera zooms in closer, and the reporter babbling on about the overlooked, ill-fated souls still trapped in the blazing such and such. As the image gets closer, I start to make out more details. The person's dancing, or something. I don't really know how to describe, but he's moving around a lot, and everything he's doing has this bizarre rhythmic quality to it. He starts waving his arms in the air back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and he's waving them up and down at the sides, and he's banging both fists on the glass. Then he's waving his arms over his head again, back and forth, back and forth. Everything he's doing to the exact same tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. He starts jumping up and down, waving his arms over his head like he's trying to get someone's attention from a long distance, but everything is to exact rhythm, over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, what in the fuck? I say, my voice hoarse as a whisper. And the camera gets a little closer, we can finally make out the person's features. It almost looks exactly like me. It's wearing the exact same clothes I'm wearing right now, clothes I changed into moments before leaving my apartment earlier. Its face looks almost exactly like mine as well, except for its eyes. Its eyes are far too big for a normal person. It also has this almost comical look of horror on its face. I don't even know how to describe it. Imagine if someone were pretending to look scared, but as a joke. It would have almost seemed funny as if the circumstances were different, but instead it was just extremely unnerving. No one in the bar is talking now. Everyone's fixated on the TV. The person is still swaying and waving around, beating its hands on the glass or jumping in circles. I almost don't hear the reporter mention the fact that the firefighters have rushed into the building and are now heading for my floor. Oh God, I think, without really understanding what was happening. Please, don't go in there. I stare transfixed at the screen. From this angle, you can barely see the top of my front door through the window, not too far behind where this creature is flailing around. Right now, it's holding its face in its hands, shaking its head from side to side, as if saying no. Suddenly, the door behind it burst open, presumably as firefighters have entered my apartment. The creature stops moving, and for a second, I see its expression change. The comical look of horror is gone, replaced by a huge smile filled with enormous, pointed teeth. Then the lights went out. We all just sat there, staring at the screen as the camera slowly zoomed out from the now dark window. No one says anything as we all quietly pay our bill and leave. I went directly to my sister's place across town and asked to stay with her. I told her there's a fire in my apartment, and that's it. I'm going to go find the footage from the news online later that night. I think they edited that last part out. I don't know if any of you on the subreddit know what that thing was, but I hope they didn't put out that fire. I hope they let the whole fucking place burn to the ground. And I saw something on the evening news I can't explain. Was hoping it was going to be better. Wasn't really good at all. Really too scary, actually. That was kind of creative. I'll give it that. It was creative. Um, so I'm just gonna have to refine that so I can put the link to it or whatever. But anyways, yeah, that was that by OQS. I really hope you enjoyed it. It was not too good of a reading, and by God, not too good of a story either. But my apologies. My apollo cheese. Get it, like apologies, but like apollo cheese, like a wrap.